Hi everybody, today we are going to start the first couple of steps of our hand art project. What you will need today is just a blank white piece of paper, a pencil to start, and then after the pencil lines have been drawn, you are going to need a Sharpie or some sort of marker, something to trace with, similar to what we did when we did our patterned animals. But we won't need that for a while, so I'm going to put that to the side. To start, you may have your paper in landscape, which means that the long side is on the top, long side is on the bottom, and then short is on both sides. This would be landscape. Or you may have your paper in portrait, which means short is on the top, short is on the bottom, and then long on the sides. I'm going to show you how to do it two different ways, but I will say that my portrait does fit on my screen the best for the video, so I am going to start here, okay? You get to decide where you want your hand to enter the paper. Do you want your hand to come in from the bottom, from the diagonal, maybe from the side? It's completely up to you where you want your arm to come in, but I want you to have a little bit of your wrist and arm in it and not just your hand. So I don't want you to just start at the bottom and trace this as if you're making a turkey. Okay, I want you to have a little bit more than that. So I'm going to turn mine just a little bit, and you can even turn your wrist too. You can really be creative with how your hand is placed on your paper. I'm going to start here, and all I'm going to do is make sure that my pencil is out and trace around my arm the best that I can. Now, we will be erasing our pencil lines later, so if you make a couple of mistakes, it's not a big deal at all. So I'm taking my time and very carefully going around each finger. I do want you to make sure that your fingers are apart from each other. I want it to look like a hand. I don't want it to look like this. So make sure that your fingers are apart, and then you can pull back and it looks like this. Now, if you were to do it in landscape, it would look the same, but you would have just come in at a different angle. So it really just depends on which way you want your paper to go. It doesn't matter to me. Just for the video, because it fits better, I am going to keep it in portrait. Now, from here, you get to decide if you want to decorate your paper with circles or squares, and I'm actually going to show you both. So the first one I'm going to do is a circle. Now you can decide if you want your circle to start inside of your hand or outside of your hand, but you are going to be overlapping regardless. So I'm just going to start with a small circle on the outside. I'm going to continue making circles all the way around until it goes off of the paper, and then I'm just going to make curved lines after that to fill up my paper as much as I can. I want you to make sure that you have significant amount of lines so that when we color it later, it does look nice. However, it's going to be super tricky to color and trace if your lines are super close together. So if I started drawing my second circle this close and I did teeny, 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 tiny circles all the way around, that's going to be very complicated. So we want to try to find kind of a sweet spot in the middle of being too close together and too far apart. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that, and excuse my iPad shaking a little bit here. And I'm going to just kind of guess where my next line should be. Again, not too far away, but not too close. So I'm going to just do about here looks good to me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue doing that all the way around to fill the whole paper. Notice that I am now off of the paper, so I cannot make full circles anymore. And I'm also overlapping onto my hand. This is correct. Your lines should go on top of your hand. Don't skip over the hand. I'm going to continue moving on. And now I am done with the first step of getting my pencil on my paper. Now I'm going to do another one quickly and show you what it would look like if you chose to do squares instead of circles. So I'm going to start again with just tracing my hand. This time maybe I'll come in from this side. Okay, I had a little bit of a weird angle on that one, and notice that this finger is actually going off of the paper. That is completely fine if that happens. Okay, this time I'm going to do squares instead of circles, and instead of starting my square or my rectangle, it could be a rectangle too, outside, I'm going to start it inside to show you the difference. And there we go. So you'll notice that they're not perfect, and that's okay. I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm just looking for you to add the shape, either a circle or a square. It doesn't need to look perfect. And then notice I could no longer get any more lines on the side here, so I had to end my project with just doing some stripes at the top, which is completely fine. So now I have one that is a square that I started in my hand and went outward, again, overlapping the hand. And then I have one that is a circle where I started outside and then my curved lines went over top of the hand. Now this shouldn't take you too long, so I'm going to introduce the next step to you as well, which is going to be tracing over your pencil lines. And we have done this a lot in our art practice. So again, it doesn't need to be a Sharpie. I would like you to try to find something black, so a black marker, a black pen, a black Sharpie, if at all possible. If not at all possible, please try to find something a little bit darker. So a dark blue, a dark brown, a dark purple would be the best option so that you're not having yellow or red or orange lines going across. I'm going to quickly trace over all of my pencil lines in front of you now. I'm going to do the circle one today. And then once I'm done, we'll kind of talk about the next steps. All right, so notice that I traced over my hand lines and I traced over the circle lines, and you would do the same with the square as well. However, again, I'm not asking for perfection, so you'll see if I zoom in even a little bit here that I have lots of pencil lines that I didn't exactly trace over top of. So the last step of today is going to be taking an eraser, either an eraser that's on the end of your pencil or an eraser that you have separate, and go ahead and erase those visible pencil lines that you can see so that the project looks nice and neat at the very end, and all you have are those marker traced lines. Now I'm going to do my erasing off of camera so you don't have to watch me erase my whole picture, but that's all you need to do for today. We are going to color next time, so please leave this black and white. I can't wait to see what you all create.